The sleek silver spacecraft descended upon the United Nations Plaza in Seoul, drawing gasps from the assembled crowd. Dr. Minji Lee, Earth's leading xenobiologist, stood at the forefront of the welcoming committee, her heart pounding as the vessel's door slid open with a soft hiss. The summer air felt heavy with anticipation. Thousands of people had gathered despite the government's attempts to limit the crowd. News cameras hovered overhead, broadcasting this historic moment to billions around the world. "Remember," Minji whispered to herself, "stay professional." She straightened her formal blue suit and touched the small notebook in her pocket. 6 years of studying possible alien biology had led to this moment, yet nothing could have prepared her for what emerged. The aliens that stepped through the doorway were stunning. Tall, willowy beings with elongated limbs and skin that shimmered, like mother of pearl in the sunlight. They stood nearly 3 meters tall, their bodies so thin they seemed almost fragile. 4 of them emerged, moving with a peculiar, floating grace that made them appear to glide rather than walk. "Welcome." "To Earth," Minji said, bowing slightly. The tallest alien, dressed in flowing silver robes that matched their ship, inclined its long neck. Its eyes, 3 of them arranged in a triangle, blinked in sequence. "I am Telnar, ambassador of the Galactic Confederation," it said, its voice melodious but oddly pitched. The translation devices worked perfectly, having analyzed the alien. "Language from earlier radio communications. We bring greetings from 217 civilized worlds." June Kim, Earth's diplomatic representative, stepped forward. Unlike Minji's scientific curiosity, June's expression remained carefully neutral. At 53, he was a veteran of countless difficult negotiations, though never one quite like this. "Earth is honored by your presence, Ambassador Telnar," he said. "We look forward to learning about your confederation." Telnar turned to one of his companions, not realizing the sensitivity of the human translation devices. "These compact creatures are truly the dominant species," he whispered. "Such dense little animals, how quaint." His companion, a being with slightly bluer skin, replied, "Their planet's gravity explains their unfortunate build. Nearly twice what civilized beings should evolve under." Minji felt her cheeks grow hot, but she maintained her professional smile. June's expression never changed, though his eyes hardened slightly. The formal reception began, with Earth's leaders welcoming the aliens into the specially prepared conference center. Minji observed how the aliens moved, taking frequent breaks, sitting down often. Their breathing seemed to become more labored as hours passed. "We are pleased to inform you," Telnar announced during the formal meeting, "that the Confederation Council has voted to offer Earth membership." He paused, looking down at the humans. "As a Category 7 developing world, of course, with appropriate oversight." June's diplomacy never faltered. "We're grateful for the consideration. Perhaps you could explain what Category 7 entails." Telnar's explanation was lengthy but clear. Earth would have observer status only. No voting rights. No technology transfers beyond the most basic. Restricted travel rights for humans. Mandatory cultural adjustment programs. "Your species will benefit greatly from our guidance," Telnar concluded, shifting uncomfortably in his seat. He was visibly sweating now, his movements becoming stiffer. "Perhaps in a few centuries, you might evolve beyond your limitations." During a break, Minji approached June in a private corner. "They're struggling with our gravity," she whispered. "Look at how they move, how they breathe. Earth's pull is draining them." June nodded slightly. "I noticed. They take twice as many rest periods as we do. Their muscles seem to tire quickly." "They evolved on lower gravity worlds," Minji said. "What they see as our stunted physiology might actually be strength," June finished. "But let's keep that observation to ourselves for now." The afternoon continued with presentations about Earth's cultures, resources, and technology. The Egalsma aliens made little effort to hide their condescension. "Your power generation is quite primitive," said one alien scientist, examining Earth's energy reports. "Nuclear fission. How dangerous. Most species abandon such crude methods before achieving space travel." Minji watched as the aliens grew increasingly uncomfortable. By evening, they were requesting more frequent breaks. Their movements became noticeably labored. "We must return to our ship for the night cycle," Telnar finally announced. several hours earlier than scheduled. Your atmosphere is quite dense for comfortable respiration." As they departed, moving with much less grace than when they had arrived, Minji caught June's eye again. A silent understanding passed between them. These beings might look down on humans, but they had revealed a critical weakness. In the gravity humans called normal, the aliens could barely function for a full day. What other advantages might humans have that the Confederation didn't understand? Minji made a small note in her book as she watched the aliens retreat to their ship. "Advantage. Earth," she wrote simply, then closed the notebook with a quiet smile. 6 months after first contact, Earth's inaugural delegation prepared to visit the Confederation capital. The team assembled in the departure lounge of the newly constructed Alien Relations Complex in Seoul. 5 humans had been selected for this historic journey to the stars. Jun Kim, now with the title of Earth Ambassador, reviewed his notes one final time. At his side stood Hannah Park, a compact woman whose calm demeanor gave little hint that she had once won Olympic gold in weightlifting. Her inclusion had been Minji's suggestion. Someone with exceptional physical strength might provide valuable insights. "Are you nervous?" asked Tae-sung, the military strategist who completed their core team. His background in tactical assessment made him invaluable, though the Confederation representatives had objected to including anyone with military connections. "Curious, not nervous," Hannah replied, stretching her powerful shoulders. "I wonder how different their world will feel." The alien transport vessel arrived precisely on schedule. Unlike the elegant diplomatic craft from first contact, this was a utilitarian shuttle. Its pilot, a being named Lorith, greeted them with the now familiar condescension. "Please secure yourselves carefully," Lorith instructed, as if speaking to children. The acceleration may be discomforting for species unused to space travel. The journey took 3 days. When they finally arrived, the humans pressed against the viewports, taking in the Confederation capital for the first time. The massive space station orbited a small pale blue sun. Its structure resembled a giant wheel with spokes extending to a central hub. "Welcome to Harmony Central," Lorith announced as they docked. The heart of civilized space, the difference in gravity was immediately noticeable. As they stepped from the ship, each human felt suddenly lighter, as if invisible hands were lifting them. "Gravity here is maintained at 0.4 of your Earth standard," Lorith explained. "Comfortable for most. Advanced species." The humans were led to their quarters through soaring hallways. Everything was designed for much taller beings. Doorways towered 3 meters high, control panels positioned far above human reach, and seating that left their feet dangling uncomfortably above the floor. "We apologize for the inconvenience," said Lorith with poorly hidden amusement. "We rarely host shorter species. Some accommodations have been adapted, but resources are limited." That night, while the other delegates slept, Hannah experimented in their private common room. She jumped and nearly hit the ceiling, 3 meters above. She lifted a piece of furniture that would have required 3 humans on Earth. Her muscles, evolved for Earth's heavier pull, made her extraordinarily powerful here. The next morning, the delegates were given a tour of the botanical gardens. Their guide, a scientist named Marin, led them through displays of plant life from dozens of worlds. The aliens moved with their characteristic floating grace, gliding along pathways at what seemed a leisurely pace, yet the humans kept up easily. Then Tae, experimentally increasing his pace, found he could move faster than their guides without even breathing hard. Soon Hannah was demonstrating how high she could jump, clearing obstacles that the aliens had to walk around. "Interesting how quickly they move," whispered Merrin to another Confederation scientist, not realizing June was within earshot. "Their muscle density is concerning. Perhaps we should reconsider their containment protocols." During a demonstration of Confederation artistic achievements, the humans discovered another advantage. The concert hall's acoustics, designed for alien hearing, was disorienting to the performers but crystal clear to human ears. The humans could distinguish subtle sounds that seemed to confuse even the musicians. Later, at a diplomatic reception, June noticed how quickly the refreshments disappeared near the human delegation. Their Earth-evolved digestive systems processed nutrients more efficiently, requiring less food despite higher energy output. Ambassador Kim addressed a high-ranking Confederation official. "We've reviewed your species application for upgraded status. Unfortunately, the Council has determined that Category 7 remains appropriate for now." "I understand," June replied diplomatically. "May I ask what benchmarks would indicate readiness for advancement?" The official's three eyes blinked in sequence. A gesture the humans had learned indicated discomfort. "Certain biological limitations make higher categories impractical." That evening, the human delegation gathered in their quarters, speaking in whispers despite sweeps for surveillance devices. "They think we're weak because we're short and stocky," Hannah said, easily holding herself in a one-armed handstand. "But in this gravity, I could throw one of them across a room." "They don't understand what evolving on a high-gravity world means," Tay added. "Our muscles, bones, cardiovascular system, they're all dramatically stronger here." June nodded thoughtfully. "For now, let's continue observing. We'll document everything but show only what serves our interests." He looked around at his team. "They've underestimated us. That's an advantage we should preserve as long as possible." 3 months after the Earth delegation's visit to Harmony Central, a formal message arrived from the Confederation Council. Dorla, the High Minister, appeared on screens worldwide with an announcement. "A friendly competition," declared Dorla, her three eyes blinking in what humans now recognized as excitement. "To celebrate Earth's inclusion in our community, we propose an interspecies athletic event. All member worlds will participate, showcasing their finest physical specimens." In her soul laboratory, Minji Lee watched the broadcast with narrowed eyes. She recognized the proposal for what it was, an elaborate spectacle designed to showcase alien superiority. The timing was suspicious, coming shortly after reports of human physical capabilities had begun circulating through Confederation networks. "They want to put us in our place," she told June during an emergency meeting of Earth's Alien Relations Committee. "They'll design events that favor their physiologies." "Exactly," agreed June. "But refusing would make us look weak or afraid." After heated debate, Earth accepted the challenge. Minji insisted on one condition, that some events must be held in Earth-normal gravity settings. To her surprise, the Confederation agreed readily. "They don't understand what they're agreeing to," Hannah said when she heard. The former Olympian had been appointed Earth's team captain. "They think their advantages in low gravity will more than make up for any difficulties in our gravity." Preparation began immediately. 50 athletes were selected from around the world, training in special facilities that could simulate various gravity conditions. Minji worked with them, developing her theories about human adaptability. 3 weeks later, the Earth team arrived at the massive sports complex constructed for the Games. The Confederation had spared no expense. The stadium could adjust gravity in different sectors, allowing for competitions in settings from near zero to Earth normal. The opening ceremony was spectacular. 200 alien species paraded in their distinctive garb. The humans, shorter than almost everyone, marched with straight backs and determined expressions. "Look how serious the Earth creatures appear," commented one Confederation announcer. "Such determination despite their obvious disadvantages. Quite admirable, really." The first events were held in low-gravity settings. Aliens with elongated limbs dominated the jumping competitions. Beings from gas-giant moons excelled at swimming through specially designed low-density liquid. Humans performed respectably, but won no medals. "As expected," said Telnar smugly to a group of diplomats. "Their compact forms are simply unsuited for civilized competition." The turning point came on the third day, when the gravity was raised to Earth normal for the lifting events. Aliens who had moved with floating grace now struggled to stand upright. Many competitors withdrew, citing unfair conditions. Hannah stepped onto the platform for the weight challenge. The goal was to lift and hold a bar loaded with increasingly heavy weights. When she easily hoisted a mass that her alien competitor couldn't budge, the stadium fell silent. "Weight verified," announced the automated system. "New Confederation record." The silence shattered as the human delegation erupted in cheers. The pattern repeated throughout the day. Tay dominated the endurance run, maintaining a steady pace. while aliens faltered and collapsed. Even in swimming, where the tall aliens' reach should have provided advantage, human shoulders and lungs proved superior in the denser water. "Impossible," Telnar muttered, as June completed an obstacle course in half the expected time. Their cardiovascular systems shouldn't be capable of this. By the final day, the gravity settings no longer mattered. Even in lower gravity, humans now won consistently. Their Earth-trained muscles and lungs simply outperformed beings evolved for easier conditions. After the closing ceremony, where Earth stood atop the overall medal count, the Confederation Council requested a scientific explanation. In a large auditorium filled with alien researchers, Minji presented her findings. Humans evolved on a high-gravity world with significant atmospheric pressure, she explained, showing comparative physiological scans. Our bodies developed exceptional efficiency in oxygen usage and muscle fiber density. What you see as limitations are actually adaptations. She displayed images of human heart tissue compared to equivalent alien organs. Our cardiovascular system must work against stronger gravity every moment of our lives. This creates natural endurance that your species never needed to develop. An alien scientist rose. "But your species is so compact. Surely that indicates stunted development." "On the contrary," Minji replied. "Our body proportions represent optimal design for our environment. Tall, thin structures would waste energy on our world. Evolution favored efficiency, dense muscle, sturdy bones, powerful hearts and lungs." The implications sank in. The mood in the room shifted from scientific curiosity to something Minji hadn't seen from the aliens before: respect tinged with caution. Later, June received a message. Earth's status was being reconsidered. The Confederation had established a committee to study the unique characteristics of high-gravity species. "They're afraid of us now," Hana said when she heard. "Good," replied Tai. "Fear can lead to respect, or to containment policies," Minji warned. "We've shown our strength. Now we need to show we're not a threat." The invasion came without warning on a quiet Tuesday morning. The Vraxians, warriors from a mid-gravity world on the galaxy's edge, smashed through Confederation defenses with brutal efficiency. Their warships, dark and angular, cut through the defensive net around Harmony Central like knives through silk. Earth's delegation had been expanded to 12 members following the athletic competition. They were in the diplomatic wing when the first explosions rocked the station. The power fluctuated, emergency lights casting eerie blue shadows across the once pristine corridors. "What's happening?" asked Hana, rushing to join Tai and June in their common area. The station shuddered again, more violently this time. June accessed the emergency broadcast system. The screen showed chaos, alien beings running in panic, security forces overwhelmed. Reports flooded in of boarding parties, breaching multiple sectors. "The Vraxians," explained the frantic newscaster. "They've come for the Central Council." Tay pulled up the tactical display. "They're moving fast, too fast. The Confederation security forces are retreating from all outer sectors." Before they could form a plan, their door burst open. Lorith, their former guide, stumbled in. His iridescent skin had lost its luster, and dark fluid leaked from a wound on his arm. "The capital is falling," Lorith cried, collapsing into a chair designed for his tall frame. "The Vraxians have breached the inner sanctum. They're slaughtering everyone. Council, members, diplomats, civilians, it doesn't matter to them." Through the windows they could see escape pods launching from distant parts of the station. Confederation ships were retreating, abandoning the central hub. "What about evacuation protocols?" June asked. Lorith's 3 eyes blinked rapidly in distress. "The main evacuation terminals are overrun. The remaining ships are prioritizing council members." Tay's military training took over. He pulled up station schematics, identifying their location and potential escape routes. "We're cut off from the main hangars, but there's a secondary diplomatic shuttle bay 3 levels down." "Can we reach it?" Hana asked, already gathering emergency supplies. "Not without going through sectors reportedly held by Vraxians," Tay replied grimly. Then his eyes narrowed as he studied the map more carefully. "But there's a maintenance access that might get us close. With Confederation forces in full retreat, Earth's small delegation found themselves unexpectedly on the front lines. Tay quickly organized the humans into a defensive unit, distributing emergency equipment. "We have advantages they don't expect," he told his team, checking the simple shock batons that were the only weapons available. "Use your strength and endurance. In this gravity, we're stronger than almost anyone on this station, including the Vraxians, most likely." The humans moved out, with Lorith guiding them through less traveled corridors. They encountered small groups of frightened Confederation civilians, gathering them into their group as they proceeded. Their first confrontation with the invaders came at a junction leading to the maintenance shafts. 3 Vraxians blocked their path, stockier than Confederation species, but still taller than humans with grey-green skin and 4 arms, each carrying wicked-looking weapons. "Stand back," Tay ordered the civilians, then nodded to Hana. The former weightlifter moved with surprising speed. Before the Vraxians could react, she had closed the distance between them. The invaders fired, but their aim was thrown off by her unexpected quickness. Hana's shock baton connected with the lead Vraxian, sending him crashing against the wall. The other humans joined the fight. The Vraxians, accustomed to the easy victories against the retreating Confederation forces, found themselves overwhelmed by these small but incredibly strong and fast creatures. As they pushed toward the evacuation point, they encountered a group of Confederation civilians trapped when a structural support had collapsed, blocking their exit. 3 tall aliens struggled to lift the beam but couldn't budge it. Without hesitation, Hana stepped forward. Bracing herself, she gripped the massive beam and lifted. Muscles developed in Earth's punishing gravity strained but held. The beam moved, creating enough space for the trapped civilians to escape. "Impossible," whispered one of the aliens who had failed to move the obstacle. Their group had grown to nearly 30, mostly Confederation civilians unable to reach the main evacuation points. June discovered a network of maintenance tunnels designed for service drones, not tall aliens. "These will be tight for most of you," he told the aliens, "but they lead directly to the diplomatic hangars." The tunnels were indeed cramped. The aliens had to crawl painfully on all fours, their elongated limbs making progress difficult. The humans, however, moved through with relative ease, their compact forms suddenly an advantage. Meanwhile, in the Vraxian command ship, their leader studied surveillance footage with growing concern. "How are they still fighting?" asked the Vraxian commander, watching humans continuing to battle after 12 hours without rest. "These small creatures should have collapsed from exhaustion by now." His lieutenant clicked mandibles nervously. "Reports indicate they're from a high-gravity world called Earth. We underestimated their physical capabilities." The surveillance showed Hana lifting an injured alien twice her size and carrying him towards safety. Another feed showed Tay and 3 humans holding a position against repeated Vraxian assaults, their endurance seemingly limitless. "Mark these Earth creatures as priority targets," the commander ordered. "They're more dangerous than they appear." But by then, June's group had reached the diplomatic hangar. 2 shuttles remained. As the civilians boarded, Tay organized a defensive perimeter to hold back the approaching Vraxian forces. "We're not leaving anyone behind," June declared, standing at the shuttle entrance counting each survivor that passed. The Confederation government relocated to Earth temporarily, the only planet the Vraxians hesitated to attack directly. The sudden arrival of hundreds of alien diplomats and officials created a strange new reality for humans. Seoul transformed overnight into the capital of galactic resistance, with the old UN building now serving as the Confederation's emergency headquarters. Minji worked around the clock, helping aliens adjust to Earth's stronger gravity. Special accommodations had been constructed: mechanical assist suits, low-gravity sleeping chambers, and oxygen supplements. Even with these aids, many high-ranking aliens found themselves confined to wheelchairs or limited to short periods of activity. 3 weeks after the evacuation, Telno wheeled himself to the large window overlooking the military training grounds outside Seoul. Earth had mobilized its armed forces, preparing for the war that had come to their doorstep. Below, hundreds of soldiers ran drills in full combat gear. "They carry weights equal to their own body mass," Telnar observed, watching soldiers running uphill in full gear. For 12 kilometers, without stopping. His three eyes blinked rapidly, the alien equivalent of shaking his head in disbelief. June, standing beside him, nodded. Standard training. Nothing special by our standards. Dorla, the High Minister, joined them at the window. Even after weeks, on Earth she moved stiffly, her tall frame struggling against the planet's pull. Our military analysts have been reviewing Earth's war history, she said quietly. We had no idea your species was so resilient. The conditions your soldiers have endured throughout your history, desert heat, Arctic cold, high mountains, deep oceans. Necessity is a powerful teacher, June replied. The Vraxians had conquered 17 Confederation worlds in the months since their surprise attack, but they had stopped short of attacking Earth directly. Intelligence suggested they were gathering information, reassessing their strategy. Earth became the center of resistance. The United Nations quickly approved the formation of an Earth defense force combining the best soldiers from all nations. Human military leaders worked alongside Confederation tacticians, developing strategies that played to human strengths. Tai was promoted to general, placed in charge of the first joint human-alien fighting force. In training exercises, the differences became starkly clear. Where aliens tired after an hour, humans pushed on for days. Where aliens needed rest after short bursts of activity, humans maintained steady performance over long periods. We won't win with technology alone, Tai told the Confederation Military Council. The Vraxians have better ships, better weapons, but they've never faced an enemy like us. His plan was bold. Rather than defending the remaining Confederation worlds, they would strike directly at a key Vraxian supply base. The target, a mining, moon-orbiting a gas giant in a disputed system. The gravity there is 1.2 times Earth normal, Tai explained, pointing to the holographic display. According to our intelligence, this is already causing the Vraxians difficulty. For us, it's barely noticeable. The Council approved the plan. 3 months of intensive preparation followed. 10,000 human soldiers trained alongside 2,000 Confederation specialists who operated the transport ships. The aliens marveled at the humans' capability. In the training facility's high-gravity chambers, the attack launched on a clear autumn morning. 50 ships jumped into the Vraxian-controlled system, catching the enemy by surprise. The landing was contested but successful. Human troops poured onto the moon's surface, moving with speed that shocked the defenders. From his command post, Tai directed the battle. The heavier gravity slowed the Vraxians, making their movements awkward. Their shots missed as they failed to compensate for the increased gravitational pull. Meanwhile, human forces advanced steadily across the rocky landscape. Their Earth evolved, bodies barely affected. A captured Vraxian officer was brought to the command post for questioning. Through the window, he watched humans charging across open ground under heavy fire. They move as if they feel nothing, he gasped, mandibles clicking in agitation, like the gravity doesn't exist for them. Within 36 hours, the moon was secured. Within a week, 3 neighboring systems had surrendered rather than face the Earth demons, as Vraxian communications now called the humans. A month later, the Vraxian High Command offered terms. The victory celebration was held in Seoul's largest park. For the first time, alien delegates stood comfortably on Earth's surface, their bodies now adapted after months of exposure to the higher gravity. The Confederation Council gathered to sign a new treaty. Humans were no longer relegated to the lowest tier, but elevated to senior members of the galactic community. Earth would lead the Confederation's new defense force, with Tai as its first commander. We mistook physical differences for inferiority, Dorla admitted to June and Minji at the ceremony. Earth's gravity didn't stunt your evolution. It forged you into the strongest species in the known galaxy. The Confederation needs Earth not just as a member, but as a teacher. Minji smiled as she watched humans and aliens mingling freely, the old prejudices forgotten. Every environment shapes its creatures perfectly, if you know how to recognize the adaptations. Later that night, as celebration fireworks lit the sky, June found Minji standing alone beside the small silver spacecraft that had started it all, now a museum piece. So, he said quietly, from ridicule to respect in less than 2 years. The universe is full of surprises, Minji replied. I wonder what other adaptations we might discover out there among the stars. Above them, the first joint human-alien crews were preparing for exploration missions to unknown regions. The galaxy had become a much bigger place, and humanity had found its place within it.